All right, we are live in 3, 2. Oh, my camera's terrible. Oh, there we go.
Fine.
That's better.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy cocktail hour. You surprised me with the cocktail.
What do you mean?
Well, you just
went to the liquor store.
I know, but like I just is that just in any liquor store?
Yeah, this is just an American sour ale raspberry. It says kettle sour ale brewed with raspberries. So right. I just bought anything.
I feel a little bad because I'm on my bike all the time, and I was out, so I don't have one. I feel bad. I don't like doing cocktail hour without a drink with you.
I'll do the ASMR then.
All right. I got a La Croix. It's pink. It's water, though. Should I just start drinking something?
Yeah. Doesn't have to be the same thing.
It could just be anything?
Yeah.
All right.
Get some red wine, some white wine. Who cares?
All right.
There's tons to talk about. Like PS2, are we making him a receiver? We have so much to dive into. The quarterback's all in Cabo. Like,
all right. Can you give me a second? Because I don't want to yell at my wife.
Me and the comment section will go nuts. Here we go. Hey, Rachel. Hi, DMac again for the third time today. Yeah, DMac's he's insane. He's next level. He's insane. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys, there's so much to talk about. The quarterbacks and Mike McGlinchey all in Cabo this past weekend. Bo Nix deciding not to do the Pro Bowl because he's having a little procedure done. Curious. And then PS2 coming out and saying, yeah, I kind of have been inspired by Travis Hunter. Should I, in fact, play wide receiver? Maybe he should. Who knows? I mean, we're talking about insane athletes. Let's see what he can do. Can he catch some balls? I don't know. So curious. Shots. I very rarely take shots, and if I do, it's only of tequila. You will probably not be seeing that happen anytime here, but we will try this American sour ale with raspberry. It's actually really good. Not too sour. Not too sour at all. Also, I still have my Sutton Sours in case you missed out on last week's episode. I feel like I need to get my hands on some more of those, but this one's pretty good. Definitely like not crazy sour, but still delicious. Cheers.
It's just a beer.
But... That's fine. That's what I'm drinking.
Okay.
I like it. Oh, and with the glass, we're fancy.
I got this back when the kids I used to coach liked me, and then they end up hating me. But
does it say something on
it? Yeah. It's it was such a nice gift from. Oh, you can't really see it. I got to put more beer in it.
Filler to the top.
It was my youth baseball organization that I used to run, the Creek, then Colorado Flash. And that's our logo. And the kids are on the back there. Two of the kids on this glass got drafted this year by Major League Baseball teams.
That was one of the funnest episodes we ever did.
And Harry's not one of them. Harry's not.
Really?
So, yeah. Listen, this is crazy. Two of these kids, Ethan Sloan and Nolan Sparks, whose names are on there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, both their dads hate me. But, you know, I love the kids. The kids are great. The dads hate my guts. But long.
What percentage of people do you think that listen to you don't like you?
That listen to me?
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, that don't like me but still listen.
Mm-hmm. Or just have heard you and are like not a fan of you.
Oh,
it's so common. I'm not trying to like take a dig at you. I'm just curious.
Oh, well, yeah. See, that doesn't bother me. Like, there's probably quite a bit, I would guess. I mean, you know, you're just nobody's everybody's cup of tea. Like, no. We'll do something on the radio, and if we look at the text line, it might be like, that was the funniest thing ever. And literally the next text may be, that was the dumbest thing of all time.
You're an idiot. I hate you.
I will say this, and this is why podcasting is really kind of a more friendly form in the comments. You got to go to some serious lengths to like tune in a podcast if you hate the people on the podcast.
Yeah,
and then you tell them how much you like. Think about like, you got to have it on. You got to, you know, type it in. I mean, like, who's going to go to that? You just wouldn't listen to it if you hated it, right?
So true. That was one thing. It took me a long time being in this industry, which I haven't been in too terribly long. But like, not everyone is going to like you. And it's kind of funny when people just comment things nowadays. I'm literally like, Oh, you have no life. I'm sorry. But
yeah, I've done. Well, it's this stuff is a little bit more personal because there was a falling out about had nothing to do with broadcasting. It was a youth baseball sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is far more personal. Yeah, I won't get into it. But let me tell you this. Despite the falling out with the dads, the fact that both of the kids who I really liked and enjoyed coaching both got drafted this year to me is amazing. I wish I had a better relationship with them individually away from their dads, but it just is what it is. That being said, I'm they both went to Cherokee Trail High School, Ethan and Nolan. So I'm super proud of them. If this gets back to them somehow, that would be wonderful. I really don't even have problems with the dads anymore. It was a very long time ago. So whatever, that would be something that I would love to sort of, get away from, if I possibly could, because I'm super proud that they made it. And the fact that they're on this class and they're now professional baseball players, and they're not even Harry. Harry, the other guy, was my son's best friend.
If you were around from those days and you saw when Harry came to DMac's house because
how great
he
was that?
Friends with his son, he sat and did the show with us like the day after he got drafted.
Yep.
Like, please let me know in the comments because that day was so fun. It was just such a bizarre show.
It was pretty wild, wasn't it?
Childhood, just sitting in your kitchen.
Well, it's a trip when kids when they're kids, like kids. And Harry, I met I guess I met Harry when he was a freshman in high school. These kids, Nolan and Ethan, I knew since they were 10 years old, even longer. So so I'm proud of both of them. And whatever they think of me, they think of me. Who knows what their dads have said about me, but I'm proud of them, that's for sure. And they're both incredibly hardworking kids, and I wish them the best. With the Tigers, Ethan went like in the 8th round of the Tigers, went to Regis College. And Nolan went, Nolan, I think he went to the Guardians, I think. Meanwhile, Harry's with the Padres. Ethan O'Donnell is with the Reds, as is Jack Moss. Colby Shade, I believe. Oh, gosh, where did Colby go? But anyways, like Colby, Ethan, Jack, Harry, another Ethan, and Nolan. I mean, there's 7 kids.
That's crazy.
7 kids that my son knew, was friends with, played baseball with. 7 drafted. 7.
That's so crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And there's another kid, Brady Lejeune Diacutis, who probably will be drafted next year. He got some injury issues, but he's probably going to be a professional baseball player next year. So,
if you had to be a professional athlete for one sport, what would it be?
Golf.
Fair.
It's the best.
Okay, but what about one of the top 4?
Top 4 is definitely baseball because that was my passion. That's just everything. That was everything in my life.
Okay.
But look at golf. Okay, the money's ridiculous.
You don't even carry your own bag.
You don't carry your own bag. The weather's unreal. You can play forever. In fact, when you become an old fuck, they give you your own tour. It's the old fart, tour, so you can keep playing.
Life hack. If you want to go to Augusta, like the week before the Masters, at least it was a few years ago. My dad and my aunt went the week before, and it was like a women's college championship played at Augusta. The flowers were beautiful. Like they were getting everything ready. And they got to go walk the course for literally a fraction of the price. Because if you have ever tried to go to Augusta during the Masters, you're like, there goes my life savings.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, Rachel. The women, the wives of the golfers, there is no chance these golfers, if they weren't golfers, would have the ladies that they have. I mean, it is like the most sideways thing. Like a lot of these pro athlete guys are good looking dudes. They are, they're in great shape. They're athletic, whatever. You should see some of the golfers
and the tennis wives. Listen,
but the tennis players have to be in good shape. There's not a lot of fat tennis players out there.
You know what though? I think the Broncos quarterbacks are doing pretty all right.
Let's talk about them. Talk about them.
Oh my gosh. First of all, in case you did not see this.
I got a couple pictures too if you want them.
Oh, beautiful. They're all in Cabo, which I love Cabo. Big fan of Cabo. I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, Bo Nix, and Mike McGlinchey and their wives all went to Cabo this past week.
Here they are on a boat. This is quick.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I love how they're all extremely cold. Like, you can just tell. But they all look so happy. So I guess it opens up the conversation. Do you just keep all three? I personally cannot wait for OTAs and minicamp to ask Sean Payton if he's ever seen a quarterback room like this, because
that's a fair question.
They're so close. Do you think they're close because of the wives, fiancés, and girlfriends?
I think the wives, girlfriends are best friends. Mm-hmm. I'll start there. However, and it's interesting how an offensive lineman gets in this mix, right? McGlinchey. All right, I'm not saying they don't like Mike McGlinchey. I'm sure they really like him. But there's no doubt the reason McGlinchey is on this trip is because of the wives. Do you know how much shit he's going to take from the other offensive linemen for going on this trip?
I'm just like, did anybody else get invited on this trip? I saw some of the other wives, and I think it was Pat Surtain's fiance, girlfriend, I don't think wife, essentially, who was like, this is everything, and like reposted this. And I'm like, did you want to go? They're in Paris, or they were in Paris.
Oh, are they really? That's really cool.
So jealous. But I'm like, I'm so curious.
I got another picture for you too. Here, let's see how this will pop up. Oh, okay. So you can hear us, but you can't see us here.
Yeah.
Give me a little play-by-play of the outfits, how they look. Break this down for us, Rachel.
Okay, so this is gonna sound so bad, but the two on the right are like clear baddies. Okay, like you can just obviously tell they know what they're doing with the Instagram stuff. Bo Nix's wife just reminds me of like Sweet Angel Girl, but she like is still really attractive and good looking. Yes. You have Mike McGlinchey, who kind of like his wife just reminds me of like a normal gal. And so it's so funny. Like, she doesn't have the fake tan going on that the other three have. Like, she's just a normal gal. I love this. They went to Flora Farms. I know way too much about their trip, but I was so jealous, and I'm a big fan of Cabo. So I'm totally here for it. I think it is just so fun, but I've never seen a quarterback room like this. Like, at a certain point, do you want to stay because, you know, it's such like a fun time? Like, if you're Zach Wilson, are you like, yeah, I'll stick around and be the third string? I don't care. Excuse me.
All right, so going from left to right, that's McGlinchey and his wife. Mm-hmm. And yes, they just look like, you know, regular people.
You would never point him out in the grocery store.
No. Then you go with Bo and Izzy Smoke, and that is her name. That's her name. I'm not making something up. He's married to the Smoke Show. And I mean, you know, she's in good shape. She's looking good. I think Jarrett Stidham's wife is a little demure based on some of the other photos I've seen.
Oh my God, look at you.
Well, but I think she's playing things down a little bit right here. I think she's a little conservative. And then look out for Zach Wilson's girl. Oh my God. They're
so cute. Like all of them. I'm like, oh, you guys are it's just like such a fun time. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know how much, like, I think there's a good bond between Stidham and Izzy Smoke and McGlinchey, because on the surface, I don't know if McGlinchey and Zach Wilson are really going to meet up. I think that's good that I think that photo is kind of indicative of probably their relationship, like how things really are. Like, there's McGlinchey next to Bo. I mean, you know, come on. And then, you know, Zach's still there, but he's kind of on the outside. But his girl is like, look at me. I am the shit, which she is. So I give it to her.
I love this relationship. I'm totally here for it. But I'm so curious because Jarrett Stidham even posted on Instagram and he said year 6. And it's a picture of him, obviously, in a Broncos uniform. And I'm like, okay, are you expecting to stick around then?
It's tough. Zach Wilson and
Sean Payton are tight.
Yeah, but, you know, they could get deals done at any time. And the fact that a deal hasn't been done yet.
But who needs a quarterback right now?
Oh, well, you know, there's a lot of teams that need like a starting quarterback. However, almost every team needs a reliable backup quarterback. And Zach Wilson and Stidham are just in a place in their career where being a starter may have passed both of them by. And I mean, you know, Zach Wilson has like 34 starts as an NFL quarterback. That's a lot. And I think a team to take a chance on one of those guys to be a starter is, I don't know. I mean,
I think Zach Wilson has a better chance of being a starter over Jared Stidham.
I do too. I absolutely, positively agree with you. But listen, there is value in a guy like Stidham who's really reliable. He gets along great with whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
He's a very likable guy.
He's great in the locker room. He is always there cracking with jokes with everybody. Like every single week we're in there, he has something to say, which is great for the media. It makes great content. But I just don't know what you do with the quarterback room for this team. I don't know what Sean
Listen, if you're Stidham or Wilson, and like Sam Darnold got $10 million for a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And he has now parlayed that. I think Sam Darnold will get a $30 to $40 million contract from somebody. Mm-hmm. And it would not surprise me if he's with the New York Jets. So we'll see. If you're Stidham or Wilson, you really just got to go, Rachel, to whoever offers you the most money. Because there is no guarantees that you're going to be bouncing around this league for a long time. And you may find yourself as, a backup quarterback. And I will agree with you. I could see a team like the Saints who need a quarterback and they're just in a bad draft position and they can't get one. I could see them throwing, seriously, I'm not lying, $10 million at Zach Wilson and rolling the bones that, he may turn out to be Sam Darnold. That something like that wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think with Zach, it wasn't just on the field, but maybe a little maturity issues as well with the Jets?
I think it was a lot of everything like that. I think these guys get thrust. I mean, he was a little bit young, period. I think a lot of these guys just get thrust into these situations. Big spotlight there, obviously, in New York City. He got accused of tapping out and not wanting to play, which I really don't believe. But
Anthony Richardson, you can do it and it doesn't matter.
Well,
I can't believe he wasn't immediately cut.
He paid a price. I mean, he definitely got benched. He didn't look very good. He took a lot of shit for it. But I mean, they had Joe Flacco as their backup. I mean, he was able to work his way back in there. So
I know. I love the relationship. I'm so curious.
Tell me more details about vacations and what they've been doing. I really don't know anything. Tell me, fill me in.
They're all back now. They had a beautiful house. I don't know what part of Cabo it was in, but it was absolutely stunning. They had a chef. They did the whole thing. It was just so fun. They obviously did the boat trip that we saw. They went to a resort one day and went to the pool. Could you imagine if you're just chilling? And Cabo's filled with celebrities all the time. But you just show up and you're a Denver Broncos fan and all three of your quarterbacks just walk in. You'd be like, what am I supposed to do right now?
Well, when you see a photo like that, because when they're playing football, it's such a, the equipment and this and that. And then you see a photo of that and you're like, oh, yeah, they're in their 20s. They young.
Look like normal guys.
Yeah, it's like you forget. Even McGlinchey, who's been around the block a little bit, is still a young guy, relatively.
Oh, yeah.
And you seriously you need a moment of seeing them like that. And then you just realize, let's see, they have officially the greatest lives in the world. And
unless they lose, then they have
except well, McGlinchey's good. His contract's big and long. Bo Nix has nothing to worry about. I mean, how would you feel being in a relationship with Zach or Stidham, knowing, hey man, our lives we are not going to have solid roots for the next 4 to 6 years or whatever it is. How'd you feel?
A lot of them. I've obviously talked a lot about Jared Stidham's wife, Kennedy. So I follow her YouTube channel and their home base is Texas. And I think for a lot of these players, they all have home bases elsewhere. Okay. And then they just come to Colorado for the season and however long that's going to be. I mean, I know that Brandon Jones is building a house somewhere else. I've been seeing the updates from his wife, fiance, girlfriend, I don't know who it is, all the time about their house and how it was Brandon's first time being able to go back and see the house. And, it's almost complete. So I think that's just the lives they kind of all sign up for. And I mean, you get paid good money. It's not like they have bad homes while they're out here. So I don't know. I feel like you just sign up for that lifestyle and you get used to it. And I think a little, maybe not when you have kids, but otherwise, I think there is a little bit of fun in that, we don't know what it's going to look like. Okay, let's just go see, how many weeks are we going to be here in Colorado? Are we going to extend for the playoffs? What's that going to look like? I think there's probably a little bit of a high of you're just kind of running on this adrenaline for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also the whole like, well, oh, your career's over. Now what moment? And I think it only gets like super complicated, Rachel, when there's kids involved. Yeah. And I think if it's just the two of you, it's not a big deal.
It's perfect example. Justin Simmons' wife.
Yeah.
Her and the kids all still live in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. They're in school. They're in school. They got friends. He doesn't know how long he's going to be in Atlanta for. He had a hard time getting a job in the first place. He got the job in the middle of the season. I get it.
Feel so bad for him. When they missed the playoffs and the Broncos made it, I was like, oh, Justin Simmons.
Well, there's some harsh realities with that too, because Sean Payton was pretty clear, like, hey, this group and something about that group and this group. And, he's implying that last year's team just wasn't that. Yeah. And the harsh reality is, yes, I get it. It was mostly about Russ. I get it. Yeah. But I think it was a little bit about Justin. I do.
Maybe not his relationship with Russ and how he was supportive of that and the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there just was something probably that didn't jibe with Sean Payton and Justin Simmons. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but...
Did the Broncos downgrade, though, in Brandon Jones, or do you think he did a good enough job that it wasn't that noticeable?
I don't think he's as good as Justin Simmons, but I don't think Justin Simmons was as impactful as he was getting paid. Okay. So the Broncos were in a tight squeeze this year to get really good value from everybody they were paying. But I think it goes beyond that. I think I don't know, man. It just feels like there was other stuff going on that Justin Simmons wasn't a match with Sean Payton. I mean, look how long it took him to get a job. You can't tell me that they couldn't settle on some. And by the way, why not bring him back now? Like, and you don't hear any talk about that. Yeah. So I got a fun story for you. It's outside of football, but we're talking about being a girl dad. Check out this from Russell Westbrook.
Lastly, before I get up out of here, my daughters would be upset if I didn't acknowledge them. So yesterday I went home. They wanted me to make sure I played the game with my they did a great job on my nails. So girls, good job. We won, so good luck. Love you.
Thanks, Rob. His girls, his family live in Southern California. He went to see them on an off day, and they painted his nails.
Okay, wait. Can we just replay that real quick?
Sure, of course.
Lastly, before I get up out of here, my daughters would be upset if I didn't acknowledge them. So yesterday I went home. They wanted me to make sure I played the game with my they did a great job on my nails. So girls, good job. We won, so good luck. Love you.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, I've two things on this. Okay. First of all, the outfit. That's just the blazer shirt underneath.
Are you kidding me? Like, let's just start there, right?
Only so many people can pull that off. Anyway.
Yeah.
How many times do you really think that the daughters are watching the press conference post-game?
I think not much. However, everything gets clipped and redistributed. So I was hit up. That was my video. I shot that video.
Yeah.
I was hit up for some sort of, Yahoo Sports. That's who it was. Yahoo Sports said, "Hey, we want to we want to use this," and that's how shit goes viral. And the whole like Jokic, the parade, that thing. I lost track at about 30 million views. So who knows? I'm not joking. That was kind of ridiculous. And then when he said, "I want to stay on parade," then it got kind of another life. So you can hear my voice talking to Jokic about that, Rachel. It's kind of insane. Like how many places.
You're like on it.
Well, yeah. This didn't go like that. It wasn't even close, but it went like semi-viral, because and there were people that were kind of harsh about the fingernail polish. They were, I mean, it's
same with Caleb Williams. To all of those people, I say, who gives a shit? Get a life, get over it.
It was funny how that happened, Rach, because nobody in the media, I mean, I guess to our credit, we all noticed it, but nobody was asking him about it. Just like, all right, whatever, you just live your life, whatever. He's the one that brought it up. So
why I'm a little curious.
Yeah, I think he wanted everybody to know that he wasn't like Caleb Williams. Like
that's the point I was curious. I'm like, are you saying this because you really want your daughters to see, or is it because you want everyone to be like, hey, this is why I'm painting my nails, right? Curious. Also, can we talk about, I saw a lot of comments, so people are clearly very intrigued by the Nuggets right now. The lineup tonight: Jamal, Westbrook, Jokic, MPJ, Aaron Gordon. How are we feeling? I know things are not going well. I don't know the score, but I know things aren't going well right now.
They're down 50. I got it on here. They're down 55-48. Jokic got in foul trouble and only played a couple minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah. Back to back. It was brutal.
He's back in there. The Knicks have scored, and I'm looking at the game now. It's AG, Jamal, Jokic, MPJ, and Russell Westbrook. So it's Christian Brown who's kind of taking this one on the bench. And Christian Brown, Rachel, against Chicago, had a career best 28 points. So
does it ever make sense? No.
Well, defensively, all right, I'm going to try to explain the best I can. OG Agbanobi, I'm not saying that right. OG, who averages 16 points for the Knicks.
Yes.
Scored 40 points against the Nuggets in Denver when the Knicks scored 145 points against the Nuggets, and AG wasn't playing in that game.
Correct.
Also, I think AG, I kind of know, there's some personal stuff going on that I can't talk about. It's family stuff, so I just got to leave it alone. But you're just going to have to take my word on it that he's got some stuff going on.
Ugh.
So I think this is a combo meal. I think this is a hand around his shoulder. We love you. You haven't been a starter. Here you go. And we need you because we can't let this OG guy, go off on us. And I really should be able to say his name. That's embarrassing. I don't know how to say his last name. I'll figure it out here. I got to look at it. Anunoby. OG Anunoby.
Yes.
Anunoby. So that's what I think about the starting lineup. I think that's why they did it. They're hanging in there. The Knicks have been absolutely on fire. And it's only a 3-point game with 2 minutes to go in the first half. They really are doing well so far. Much better.
Okay. Because I've seen so many people talking about fire Michael Malone. But I mean, not even just tonight. Like for weeks, it feels like we've been having, honestly, I feel like for the past year, we've seen that conversation. Yeah. I just saw somebody, Malone is on the hottest seat in the NBA. Is that true or false in your opinion?
That is absolutely false.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Malone got a new contract. Malone is the winningest coach in Nuggets history. No, I think Malone's got nothing to worry about. However, I think there's massive pressure on the Nuggets during the Jokic window. I do. I think
there should be.
Yeah, and there is. And what is going to be really interesting at the trade deadline, and how about what the Avs did with Mikko Rantanen, huh? Oh my God.
I know. Us only doing these shows once a week, I'm like, there's so much to catch up on.
Really quick, and we can get to Mikko here in a second. I just think if the Nuggets, here's the deal. If the Nuggets are going to do something of significance, Rachel, the only person that would matter, there's two guys actually, but number one would be Michael Porter Jr. The other guy would be Christian Brown. Other than that, there's not a real lot of value anywhere else. So if you want to make a blockbuster deal, it would involve mainly Michael Porter Jr. and maybe Christian Brown. So I'll ask you, how would you feel about that?
I don't like it. I get the MPJ talks. I've gotten it for a few years. Defensively, he's a liability. He has gotten better over the years, which I do like. Christian Brown, I do not like that move. I think he is still so young. I think you keep him. Like, he's been a part of that core. So if you had to move from one to the other, I would say move on from MPJ. But really, I like sticking with the core. I think adding Westbrook has been really good for this Nuggets team, having another veteran, probably more vocal guy out there that's been really helpful. But if you had to move on between one of the two, I would go MPJ over Christian Brown. But I just don't like to break up the core, which is why with the Avs did, I'm like, Oh, it sucks, but I also think the Avs were kind of left with no choice.
Okay. For the record, I think the only guy I wouldn't want to move on from Christian Braun either. I don't really want to move on from MPJ.
Agreed.
I think he's the only one. I think you're in this pickle because you're not getting more consistent production out of Jamal Murray. Okay. I think that is what it is. And if they don't, they could be in trouble. Let's talk about the Avalanche. What'd you think?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I was shocked. But I watched Chris McFarland's interview with the press on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And just when you're listening to something your gut tells you something was said and they thought we're never going to agree on a number, so we might as well ship him off to get something in return. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I think Mikko coming out and saying that he was shocked, and maybe he was, but Mikko's not doing the talking. It's his agent. Like, there were probably talks for a couple of weeks. Did I think it was a little weird that they did it so far from the trade deadline? Yes, but I just think that they knew they were never going to meet on the number. So you might as well ship them off, see what you can get. Obviously, they got two players. One who honestly seems like a bit of a star. He had a great first or second appearance with the Avs. It's Nekas?
I've heard it pronounced a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
Bednar on Altitude this morning said Nekchus. So, but I've heard Natchez. Okay. I've heard Martin. I've heard Martine. I think Natchez is the easiest way to say it. So I'm just going to stick with Natchez.
Okay. So I just think that they were never going to agree on a number. So move on, see what you can do. Allow your team to build a little bit of chemistry before the trade deadline, before playoffs, before everything gets rolling. And it's an interesting move. I think everyone was shocked by it. We just didn't expect it this early. Mm-hmm. But I think Mikko's team really wanted a number that just wasn't realistic. I mean, let's be real. Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon both took more team-friendly deals than probably they could have. They could have gone to another team and made crazy money, and they chose not to. And so I don't know if that was the case for Mikko, but I think that the Avs wouldn't have let him walk away if they thought they could have made a better deal. Your opinion?
I think Mikko had a little bit of revisionist history when he was talking to my pal Peter Baugh of The Athletic. And when he said, I was willing to take less, and that's why it caught me by surprise, I'm like, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, okay. Because Ryan Whitney of Spittin' Chicklets came out and said they offered him $11.75, which for a winger would have made him the highest paid winger in the NHL. Not a center. Nathan MacKinnon's a center. So Ryan Whitney said, and a couple of other people, so the word got out there, hey, listen, man. So when Mikko says I was willing to take less, I mean, what does that mean? Like you wanted 14 and you would take 12.5, but the offer on the table was 11.7, and that would have made you the highest paid winger. So, okay, like nobody's a liar here. You know what I'm saying? Like Mikko said, oh yeah, I was willing to take less, but maybe his version of less, Rachel, is still, considerably more than what the Avalanche were going to offer.
Yeah.
Both those things are true. I think Mikko, to me, was playing the world's smallest violin there. So there's a little bit of this like, hey, man, I get it. You don't want to be perceived as like a greedy non-team guy. I mean, I do understand that.
Yep.
But maybe you need to have a chat with your agent. And keep in mind, his agent is the same agent for Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers, who's a center, okay? And Mikko may not be staying with the Canes. This may be a total play to get Mikko on the Oilers with Draisaitl and McDavid. How about that?
How about that tinfoil hat? Wasn't expecting that to come out of this.
Well, you just put. Well, we'll see. We'll see. There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
But hey, listen. Guess who doesn't want to take less money? Agents. Okay. So if I think if Mikko, if he really wanted to be an Avalanche, Rachel, if he really wanted to be here,
what is $750,000 when you already have $11 million? I'll just go out there and easily say it for everybody. I agree 100%. But the question is now, who lost more? Did Mikko lose more or did the Avs lose more?
Well, that's a great question. Right now, it feels like the Avs have an identity crisis. Yeah. Although Bednar said
for a while though.
Yeah, Bednar did say he liked how they played against the Rangers, Bruins, and Islanders. He liked how they played, but they lost 2 out of those 3. I'll be right back. Hang on. I'll fix it.
And who's coming back? Oh, there he's coming back.
Scary. I'm back.
And he's back.
Sorry about that. I think Bednar liked how they played. But who are these guys? Mm-hmm. Who are they? I mean, they got rid of their entire goalie room. They had one of the biggest trades in franchise history, trading a likely Hall of Famer. Casey Middlestad is kind of, I mean, some nights he's on a milk carton like he's just missing. You don't know what you're getting. Nathan MacKinnon, he's been better of late, recently being more accountable. Who knows when Gabe is coming back, Gabe Landeskog. I suppose it's cool that Lonzo Ball of the Bulls is actually playing now in the NBA. He has the same as Gabe, so maybe something. Val Nichushkin, we heard from Bednar, we won't see him before the 4 Nation face-off. So that's another 4 weeks until we would possibly see Val Nichushkin back. So
also, just really quick, because I've seen this a lot on social media, the Gabe contract has nothing to do with the Mikko trade, because right now the Avs, Gabe's contract is essentially just not a part of it. So I want to make that clear. I feel like a lot of people are blaming Gabe Landeskog for this, and that's just not the case.
So I don't know. The Avs right now are in the first wild card spot, so that puts them 4th place in their division. They've got a pretty solid distance to not be in that spot, or at least the second spot.
Missing a voice, a leadership voice, a Gabe Landeskog in the locker room being like, "Get your shit together," and
probably. I mean, there's just
Kale's not that guy.
Oh no.
Nathan MacKinnon's not that guy. I mean, I think people, don't get me wrong, I'd be scared of Nathan MacKinnon because when he gets a little angry, he's a little feisty, but he's not that guy. I don't know who is that guy. And I think it sounds crazy. They have been missing that guy since Nazem Kadri and Gabe Landeskog.
Yeah. And I've talked to a lot of pro athletes about this, Rachel, and to a person, they say the same thing. Your voice can only be as loud as you can contribute on the field, ice, court, whatever. You can't be a sideline rah-rah. I mean, you can, but it just does not have the same impact. So don't forget, during that Stanley Cup run, which is a miracle he was able to do it, Gabe Landeskog did play. He was playing during that playoff series. They really miss him. They miss that leadership. And goalies only go so far. What goalies are in terms of leadership, you just don't want to be a distraction. You don't want to be an anchor. And I think Georgiev was an anchor. I think Annunen just wasn't playing that well. So I think they just got rid of him. But I think Georgiev was literally an emotional and a lot of times playing-wise anchor. And that's why they had to move on. I think Wedgwood and Blackwood are both really good dudes. They get along with everybody. So they're fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But you don't get the same leadership from a goalie because of the nature of his position compared to you wouldn't get the same leadership from a pitcher as you would a position player because their positions are just so much different.
Yes. You're going to have a different leadership from a quarterback than you are a cornerback.
Yeah. How much leadership are you ever going to get from a kicker or a long snapper?
Yeah. Okay, real quick, going back to football, just because I know we've only got a little bit of time. Pat Surtain playing both sides, yes or no?
What do you mean? Oh, both sides. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about a contract and go, yes. You should explain. You should explain yourself.
Okay, Pat Surtain came out and said that he's, been inspired by Heisman winner Travis Hunter because he plays both the offense and defensive side of the football. Now, question about that is, okay, well, do you want Pat Surtain to be a receiver at some point and try both sides of it? Do we all remember when our good friend here, DMac, got made fun of in the press for talking about Pat Surtain returning punts? And everybody made fun of him. Quite literally, it felt like everybody was like, what a silly question. And then what happened at training camp? Oh, yeah, Pat Surtain was back there taking punts. would you like to see him catch some footballs on the offensive side of things?
The answer is definitely yes. And not only did I suggest he be a punt returner, Rachel, in that same debate and conversation that was going on that everybody ridiculed me, I talked at length about how he should be mixed in the offense. 100%. Everybody thinks he's up. You got to see Pat Surtain. He's built like a brick shit house. He's 6'2" and change. He doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. The guy's in unbelievable shape, and he's not some sort of fragile little doll. And he's a football player. And
but
yes,
if he gets hurt,
oh gosh, you know,
we
can all get hurt. It's a football game.
If he gets hurt, that secondary is not good enough to lock down both sides of the football field. Okay, they are not good enough. They were barely good enough to handle the Riley Moss side of the field. Pat Surtain was phenomenal and able to lock down one side. They can't afford to have him get hurt on that.
I say it's worth it. I am not worried about it. Plus, we got Riley Moss.
Are they going to go after another wide receiver in free agency?
Okay,
actually, everybody's been asking me, who are they going to draft? Who are they going to go after in free agency? I think you go after a veteran wide receiver in free agency if you're going to go after one. I say don't draft it. You've already got enough young guys. I love it. I like going after a veteran.
I love it. There's two guys that leap off the page, and that's T. Higgins, number one, and Chris Godwin after that. After those two, it kind of falls off the cliff a little bit for wide receivers. Okay. I say buckle up, Buttercup, and go get your number one guy, and that's T. Higgins. I think Cortland Sutton's a natural number two anyway. It's obvious they don't want to break the bank for Cortland Sutton. I would just go for it. I would go get T. Higgins. You?
Yeah, I'm all about going and getting a veteran guy, been in the league for a while, puts up great stats, allow Cortland Sutton, then you got Devon Bailey also, Marvin Mims in there. Like, you have a good group, but I don't think you can afford to go young at the wide receiver position again because it's already such a young group. I'm forgetting Bo Nix's teammate at Oregon. What is his name?
Tez Johnson.
No, that was his Troy
Franklin.
Thank you. That was blanking on me. He's sticking around because he's been drafted. Sean Payne said it takes 3 years to really identify if they've made it or not, that type of thing. So he'll be on the roster no matter what. It's already very young. You need to go out there and get another veteran guy. Like you had in Tim Patrick, obviously, who you let go, and in Josh Reynolds.
Good stuff, Rachel, as always. You got any personal stuff on anything that you want to share? Not even professional, but just personal, like life with Rachel, like what's good? What should we know about you?
I did see somebody who commented and said sending prayers to Mia. So Mia is my dog. We found out that she had cancer. So we are going unfortunately she's got cancer, but we honestly got your dog is going to get cancer. We got the best news possible. So we will meet with a surgeon here in the upcoming days to see how that's going to go. Otherwise she's doing good. She just walked in behind me. She clearly heard her name. Okay. And I'm trying to think anything else. Not that I can share quite yet.
Okay.
I feel like we say this every single week. We're like so close. You guys just keep holding on.
Okay. Well, I'm so sorry for you and Anthony. I know how much pets mean, and
they do.
I pretend to love my cats. I guess I do, but I definitely understand how the dog relationship means a little bit more. I definitely get that.
Thank you. So, appreciate it. Yeah, no, she's doing really good. So, and she's young, and it hasn't honestly, it feels like she has no clue what's going on. You know what I mean? So that's all you can ask for. So no, I appreciate for all the love and prayers though. You guys have been awesome in the comments on everything I posted. So thank you to everybody for that.
All right. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. The Nuggets are kind of hanging in there.
Did you finish your beer?
I'll finish it right. Oh boy, hold on.
Peer pressure at its finest. Yeah, buddy. Did it.
All right. So there you go. It's another edition of Cocktail Hour. 3, 2, 1.